What is up, everybody? This is Brian, the Toyota guy. I'm actually recording this video from my home garage. I figured if I'm going to talk about the GR Corolla, I figured I would do so in an environment that I'm comfortable with, given the fact that I've got a couple of my Toyota projects in here, including my 1987 Toyota MR2 there, and then right here is my 1982 Toyota Celica, and then outside I've got a 4Runner, and I've had two other MR2s before this one. And the reason why I'm bringing all this up is I have wanted, it's actually on my list of cars that I'm wanting to buy next, but I have always wanted to get a Celica all-track, specifically the GT4, the model that they sold in Japan those last few years up into the late 90s with the 4-round headlights. I've always loved the idea of an all-wheel drive, manual transmission, turbo 4-cylinder car. And so naturally, I have been watching for any of the news that was being talked about with the GR4 Corolla. I had been watching a little bit of the press releases and stuff when they released the GR Yaris overseas. And you can even find information about that car on the US Toyota website. But up until obviously recently, they didn't have any official word on them doing anything with the GR Corolla. But it had been obviously rumored for some time and teased over and over again with a lot of the different Toyota advertisements and things. So I was getting really, really excited. And now we're a few days after the press event. I guess it was, Friday last week or Saturday last week or something like that, that they actually had the press event and released pretty much all the details except for pricing and availability. From what we know so far, they've got two models that are coming out. They're going to have the Core Edition, which is going to be the base model, entry level, whatever you want to call it. And then they're going to have the Circuit Edition, which is only going to be for the 2023 model year. And I keep hearing rumors that it's going to be a limited run. I feel like I might have read somewhere that they're only going to make 1,000 of them, which is going to suck. And I hope that's not the case. And that one's supposed to be the all-in. And I guess with the Core Edition, I understand there's going to be two packages that can be added to that one. One of which is going to be some sort of a performance package that includes the dual limited slips that come standard on the Circuit Edition. That allows you to switch the power from front to rear or a 50-50 split. And that 70-30 split sounds awesome. It's going to be like practically a rear-wheel drive turbo Corolla, which I'm pretty excited about. And then I guess there's going to be like a winter package where you can get heated seats, heated steering wheel, stuff like that from what I understand. But the cool thing between the Core Edition and the Circuit Edition is like baseline performance is going to be the same. They're going to have the same engine, the same output. It's like 300 horsepower, like 284 foot-pounds of torque, basically 100 horsepower per cylinder, which is awesome. And I'm kind of really curious to see what happens with this turbo 3-cylinder. Turbo 3-cylinders have not been a thing in the States, honestly, really ever. I think there might be some obscure cars that have had them, but it's been a thing that's been happening in Japan and Europe forever. I mean, there's all those little K cars and stuff like that that had 600cc 3-cylinders. So I'm really excited to see a 1.6 liter. And from what I've seen from the images of the block, it's a really healthy looking block. And the Yaris has been known to make really good power overseas. I've even seen some videos where people are getting like 500 horsepower out of those, which is just bananas to me. But I am definitely getting one. That's really the whole reason why I wanted to make this video is like I'm sure a lot of you that may be watching this, want to be the first in line to get one. And I do know that there's always conflicting emotions on when Toyota does a release, because I don't like the way Toyota does their releases. They basically, I feel like Apple does it right. I mean, they tell you everything about the product. They get you hyped about it. You know the pricing, you know the specs, you know when they're going to ship. And the way Apple does it, if they come out with a new iPhone today, 2 weeks from now, you can show up in the store and buy one. You might have to elbow a few people to get there, but at least you can buy one or put your name in the hat to get one. Toyota, they've done this with the Tundra, which is out now. They're doing it with the Sequoia currently. There's all these rumors and talk about the 4Runner and the Tacoma that's going to be coming out soon because they're due for a remodel there. But just because Toyota released the car doesn't mean we're going to see anything on pricing or fuel economy or anything like that for probably another 6 weeks to 8 weeks or more. Honestly, I would not expect to see the very first few GR Corollas to even show up in dealerships until late this year, maybe even as late as October or November or later. And I'm saying there's going to be only a handful at that point. Where I work at Fred Anderson Toyota in Asheville, I have only seen 2 physical GR86s actually show up to the dealership. We do have a third one that's coming through the pipeline now, but we are 0 for 3 on manual transmissions. Every single one of them has been an automatic. Now, obviously, the Corollas that are coming out, all of these are going to be manual transmissions. So thank God we don't have to worry with that. But I know that I want one. I know there's at least, I think, 3 or 4 serious people that I work with at the dealership that want one. And I've already had, I think, 4 or 5 of my friends, if not more, that have reached out and asked questions about this car and when can they put their name in. And of course, you've already had people calling the dealership asking these questions. So where I'm going with this is a plea. If Toyota ever would watch this video, I just really hope that they have a really good plan for the rollout on these cars, because so far, especially with all of their hybrids like the Sienna, the Highlander, the Tundra hybrid, still I haven't seen one come through the pipeline. I've only seen a handful of those even exist out there in the world right now. But Toyota is way behind on getting these cars built. And I really hope, we've got a ton of enthusiasts that really want this GR Corolla. It's been talked about, it's been teased. And if they botch the rollout where we only have, a couple hundred cars that ship to the whole entire U.S., in the first year of production, meaning 2022 or this year, that's going to suck. And then, of course, there's going to be the Circuit Edition that's going to be coming out soon in 2023. We're definitely not going to see pricing on that. But the way I'm expecting this to be, I am expecting that the base model Core Edition, that would be the non-limited slip, the non-performance package. I think that car is going to start about $35,000. And that makes sense to me because the top end XSE base model MSRP is like 27-ish. And if you think about the turbo 3-cylinder, the all-wheel drive, the wide body, the wheels, that adds up to be about $35,000 in the new car world. I think that the Circuit Edition, when that finally has details, I would expect that to be anywhere between 42 to maybe up to 45, just given all that it's going into it. But I'm really excited about these. My heart is on the Circuit, but I also know that I can't wait. If it's going to be a year from now before the Circuit Edition even starts to ship, and there's already other GR Corollas that are running around that are almost specs for spec, the same performance, I'm not going to be patient enough for that. And especially if they're only going to release, 1,000, and they're going to be trickled in across, the 1,000 dealerships that are across the U.S., then the chances of me getting one, or many people getting one, is going to be really, really hard to get. So I think what my plan is I am hoping that I can get my name on the list at my dealership to get the first one, as long as it has a performance package. That's the only thing I care about. I've looked a lot into it, and all I care about is having, not red. I don't want the red one, I don't think. Although if I got stuck with it, I'd be okay with it. I think I want white, but I definitely want the performance pack. I'm really going to miss out on the seats. So if you haven't already watched all the leaks and the videos and everything up to this point, the big differences between the Core Edition and the Circuit Edition is the forged carbon roof. You also have the aluminum vented bulged front hood. You also have Circuit only edition seats. You also have, which are gorgeous. That's going to be the main thing that I'd love to have on that Circuit. You also have the special paint color, that gray that's in all the photos. That's going to be only available on the Circuit Edition. And there's like a autographed shift knob, and it comes standard with the brake package, which is like freaking gorgeous brake package. That 4-piston front caliper with like a 14-inch rotor. I mean, on a freaking Corolla, that's going to smoke anything that I have here. So that's kind of the big differences. However, if you get the Core Edition with the performance pack, then you get the brakes, then you get the limited slips, and you still have the same engine. You don't have the wing. That's another really good thing that I do like on the Circuit Edition, is I love that wing. However, if I could get a white Core Edition with the performance package, I could always add a wing. I could always add a carbon fiber hood. I think the carbon roof is cool. That would be awesome to have. That'd be a great feature to have with that, but it's not something I have to have on this GR Corolla for me. So I'm hoping that I can get one of these this fall with that performance pack, hopefully in white. I've always loved white Toyotas, especially if you start to add some carbon fiber parts in there. Like I could totally see a carbon fiber hood, probably wrap the roof in carbon fiber, or at least the vinyl that looks like carbon fiber, and maybe start to do something with the wing and stuff like that. So I'm super excited about that. I am trying to figure out where this car would fit in my fleet, because kind of my performance car, if you will, out of my collection is my MR2. It's a supercharged MR2. It's got a ton of suspension stuff on there, wheels, tires, a little bit of custom carbon fiber on the inside. And I've been kind of thinking about selling that car. So I don't know if that would replace that car, and that would be kind of like my performance car. And then I would keep my daily driver, which is a 3 Series BMW. It's a 4-cylinder 320i with a 6-speed and the Sport Pack. So that would be the most sense to replace that car, because that's been my 4-door daily driver fun car, and it makes about 270, 280 horsepower out of a rear-wheel drive 6-speed manual. So it would still be a huge upgrade to go to the Corolla. It would just be a little bit more cramped inside than the 3 Series would be. So obviously, me personally, I've got to figure out some stuff of how I'm going to do this, if I'm going to let this car go or let the BMW go. But I want to hear from you guys what you're most excited about. But really, the 2 key takeaways I want to have from this video is, for everybody that's watching, don't expect to see these Corollas for a while. And I really hope there's not going to be dealers that are just arbitrarily taking deposits, you know, in advance, even though there's no cars being built or being released yet. So watch for that. I feel like that's a bit scammy. At least at my dealership, if we're going to take a deposit from you, it's on a real car that you know is yours. We're not just going to take your money and cross our fingers that we get the one that you want, all while 6 months later you still have nothing to show for it. The other thing that I'm expecting to see happen, but I hope it doesn't, is huge markups. We've seen this with the Type R. We're seeing this at all the Kia dealerships with the Veloster Ns and the Elantra N, or whatever it's called. And I've seen it with a lot of these cars before, is, $5,000 and $6,000 and $7,000 or more markups on these cars. And what sucks is we've seen that with the Bronco, and honestly everything. This whole last year has been a crappy year to be a buyer for cars with the markups. And I'm hoping that things stay in check there. There are probably going to be a couple of dealerships across the U.S. that might not do any markups on those. But again, they might only have like 3 GR Corollas to sell in a short window of time. So it's not going to have a huge impact like the Tundras and the Broncos, which are a little bit more of a wider production car. So I am really hopeful that Toyota gets their assembly in line for these. I'm hoping that they actually ship them out on time. I'm hoping Toyota gives us some pricing here soon. Although, again, I don't expect that for a little bit. So everybody just sit tight. I'm curious to hear in the comments which one you're looking to get. Again, there's only going to be 3 colors available with this first year. It's like red, white, or gray. And black. There is a black one. So you're pretty limited on your color choices. So let me know what you guys are thinking about getting. And go ahead and argue with me in the comments. If you think the Circuit Edition is the one to wait for, I'd love to hear why. If you think that it's a waste of money to maybe go $8,000 to $10,000 more on a Circuit Edition for only a handful of extra parts, I'd love to hear about that too. But definitely count me in. As soon as I can get more information on these, I'm going to put the information out. So feel free to subscribe to this channel. As more information comes out, I will definitely put it out. But again, coming from the home garage, the Cooper Garage project here, thanks so much for watching, and have a great day.